Now, because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
Hollywood is reeling from an unprecedented media earthquake. But this time, the epicenter isn't a blockbuster movie or a chart-topping hit. It's a courtroom. A trial that many are calling the first crack in the old glass of Hollywood power. As week 4 of Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, trial begins, Justin Bieber has unexpectedly broken his silence. It's a genuine shock. Not just because he's resurfacing after years shadowed by scandal, but because his voice is a wake-up call aimed at those who once climbed to the top by crushing others beneath them. But today's video isn't just about a single accusation. This is the story of an entire generation of young artists, caught in a whirlwind of fame, power, and dark corners never officially acknowledged. A tangled web, where silence was often bought with luxury cars, record deals, and sometimes, personal safety. And now, at a time when witnesses are stepping forward and long-buried secrets are being dug up, Justin Bieber, the former golden boy of pop, has chosen to side with the truth. This video will peel back the layers of events, faces, and stories that lie behind the glamorous photos and fake smiles on the red carpet. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear may change the way you see the entertainment world forever. Justin Bieber, the blonde Canadian kid who took the world by storm with Baby, was never just a pop sensation. He became the face of a generation of prodigies forced to grow up too fast. While other kids were learning how to navigate adolescence, Justin was learning how to be a public figure. He became a millionaire before he even knew how to fill out a bank form. And the man who took him from bedroom YouTube clips to a Beverly Hills mansion? None other than Sean Combs, a man whose name now appears in FBI files. Years ago, Diddy openly said he saw Justin as a son. He paraded him around New York events, introduced him to powerful figures in the music industry, and even let him drive his personal Lamborghini around Los Angeles. It was every teenager's dream. But that dream had a price. According to some people close to the situation, Justin didn't realize he was being placed in dangerous environments. A 15-year-old boy in a world of all-night parties, shady invitations, and unspoken agreements only adults understood. By 18, Justin was acting out, smashing hotel rooms, brawling with paparazzi, using drugs. The media labeled it reckless youth, but few asked deeper questions. These behaviors were symptoms of a wounded psyche, someone who no longer knew whom to trust. Justin himself once said in an interview, "At that age, I didn't know who actually loved me and who was just using me." That's the real context behind why Justin is speaking out now. Not because he's a direct victim, as his representative stated, but because he witnessed, felt, and was hurt by the same power that once wrapped around him like a savior. In almost every story about young Justin Bieber, Usher's name comes up, as his mentor, his older brother figure. They appeared together at events, arms around each other like family. Usher, alongside Scooter Braun, signed Justin's first contract. They performed together, toured together, and Usher often spoke publicly about feeling responsible for protecting Justin from the traps of the music industry. But now, that image is being called into question. In court, testimony from Cassie, Diddy's former girlfriend, sent shockwaves when she claimed Usher witnessed Diddy abusing others, including Justin, and chose to stay silent. She described a night in a private mansion when Diddy erupted in rage, screamed at Justin, and trashed the room. According to her, Usher simply stood there, cold and silent. Other witnesses hinted that Usher helped clean up the mess left behind by Diddy's violent outbursts. There have long been rumors in the entertainment world that Usher owed Diddy a favor from his early career, and that part of that favor involved guiding Justin, someone Diddy allegedly wanted to mold in his own way. One industry insider half-joked, Justin didn't just learn to sing from Usher. He learned how to survive in a world where the rules are made by the most powerful. As Justin matured and began realizing that many of his relationships weren't what they seemed, he slowly pulled away. Sharp-eyed fans noticed that around 2020, Justin and Usher stopped appearing together entirely. Social media interactions vanished. No statements, no drama, just a long, suspicious silence. What troubles the public isn't just what Usher did, or didn't do, but the larger question. How many others in the industry are like him? How many so-called good guys stayed silent when witnessing abuse, all for the sake of fame, contracts, and peace of mind? When Diddy's trial officially opened, people expected drama, but no one imagined the scope. Before jury selection, the court reviewed a list of over 100 names: artists, executives, businesspeople, even Hollywood A-listers. Among them were Ashton Kutcher, Kanye West, T.D. Jakes, Michael B. Jordan, and even Mike Myers. These individuals aren't being accused, nor are they necessarily direct witnesses. But they may have attended parties or visited homes and penthouses under Diddy's control. And according to anonymous testimony, what happened in those places was far removed from their public personas. These gatherings were rumored to be zones where moral lines vanished, where cameras were banned but alcohol and silence were encouraged. In showbiz, people have long whispered about private parties, where the elite gathered, and warned others, if you're invited to Diddy's house, think twice. According to off-the-record sources, these parties featured big-name singers, famous directors, and even figures known publicly as moral role models and inspirations. The presence of major names like Kanye West and Ashton Kutcher on that court list gave many people chills. It implied they either witnessed something, or might be called upon to clarify the truth. The irony is, many of them have previously spoken out against abuse of power and stood up for justice. Things became even more suspicious as the media re-examined past incidents. People who once tried to expose Diddy or shed light on questionable behavior often experienced strange misfortunes. Sudden illnesses, mysterious disappearances, or sudden exits from the public eye. One young producer who claimed to have evidence of a setup scandal died from pneumonia just days later, despite being previously healthy. What began as a personal trial for Diddy is now expanding into an entire network. The names on that list may not have done anything wrong, but their inclusion raises a bigger question. If everyone knew, why didn't anyone speak up? As public scrutiny intensifies and old secrets slowly resurface, people are beginning to look back at Justin Bieber's rebellious years in a different light. Maybe those weren't just youthful outbursts after all. Maybe they were silent cries for help, from someone trapped in the dark layers of an industry that rarely offers an exit. Between 2013 and 2016, Justin was in the headlines more for scandals than for music. Drag racing, marijuana use, cursing at police, swearing on stage. The world was quick to call him a bad boy, but very few stopped to ask, what happened to him? What turned the kid who sang "Baby, Baby, Baby Oh" into a symbol of public meltdown? Close sources later revealed that Justin had fallen into a deep depression. He felt completely out of control of his own life. One insider even shared that Justin once said, "I feel like a puppet. Everyone's pulling a string. And I don't even know if I'm allowed to stop singing." That wasn't a beloved teen star anymore. That was someone suffocating under pressure, trauma, and memories no one ever fully explained. Then came the turning point. After undergoing therapy and stepping away from the stage for a long time, Justin made a comeback, but with a new image. A man of faith, a family man, no longer afraid to face his past. His marriage to Hailey Baldwin in 2018 became one of the milestones that helped him rediscover himself. In a recently leaked clip, Justin was seen crying in Hailey's arms after a conversation that was rumored to involve the pressure of being subpoenaed. His face in that moment carried no trace of superstar glamour, only the exhaustion of a survivor. What stood out in Justin's first official response to the Diddy situation was a statement from his representative. Though Justin is not among the direct victims, his heart is with those who were hurt. It wasn't a direct accusation, but it was a clear signal. Justin was no longer staying silent. And in show business, Silence can be the most expensive thing you'll ever pay for. That very silence, kept for years, is what now gives Justin's words so much weight. He was once embraced, then manipulated, by the industry. And now he's saying, I know what happened. And I can't pretend I don't anymore. Justin Bieber's return isn't just personal or moral, it's high stakes. Speaking out in the entertainment world, especially against someone who once made you, is dangerous. And in this case, the risk could be even greater than anyone imagined. Diddy isn't just some music mogul. He's a power symbol, with deep connections across music, media, and even politics. According to sources close to the federal investigation, just before the trial began, Diddy allegedly made moves to silence potential witnesses. And one name, in particular, drew attention: Justin Bieber. Leaked reports suggested Justin had received anonymous texts, strange late-night calls, and even subtle threats disguised as emotional messages from the past. All of them carried the same warning: if you talk, you'll pay. Justin's team has officially denied that he is a direct victim. But the reality might be more complicated. There are rumors that Justin is one of several anonymous witnesses under federal protection. Individuals who once lived with Diddy, saw things, or experienced moments they couldn't reveal back then. If that's true, Justin's safety now relies not just on the law, but on how much the public chooses to support and believe him. One video clip recently went viral on TikTok. It showed Justin stepping out of a car at a Los Angeles studio, his face tense, eyes avoiding the cameras. What caught everyone's attention was the oversized cross necklace swinging from his neck, possibly a symbol of faith, but maybe also a kind of spiritual armor. Is he afraid of something? Or is he preparing himself for battle? Behind the scenes, people close to Justin say that after being identified as a possible witness, he canceled several performances and ramped up his personal security. He's barely interacted publicly with fans in weeks and has turned down all interview requests. In a world where silence often speaks louder than words, these actions say what Justin can't say out loud, at least not yet. And so, the public begins to ask, if he's not a victim, why the fear? And if he did go through something, will he ever dare tell it all? In the shadow of Diddy's trial, something eerie is unfolding. Those who were once close to him, colleagues, artists, friends, even protégés, are now shockingly quiet. And this isn't your typical Hollywood silence. This is the kind of silence that comes from people who know that speaking out might not just cost them a scandal, it could cost them their career, or even their life. No one can forget what happened to Andre Harrell, one of Diddy's closest friends and mentors. He died suddenly of heart failure in 2020, just days after rumors emerged that he was writing a memoir about his time at Bad Boy Records, the label Diddy founded. Although his death was ruled natural, people in the music industry couldn't help whispering, "What a coincidence." Likewise, several individuals who once hinted at Diddy's dark past, producers, former dancers, vanished from the public eye shortly afterward. No posts. No appearances. No one knows where they went. They just disappeared. Chris Brown, often controversial but deeply familiar with the industry, once said during a live stream, "There are things I'll never speak on. Not because I'm scared, but because I know what the truth costs." It wasn't a confession. It was a warning. Amid that eerie silence, a new list of potential victims has begun to surface. According to unofficial reports from prosecutors, at least 3 anonymous witnesses are expected to testify in the coming weeks. And one of them might be a well-known public figure, someone who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Diddy during tours, TV shows, and public events. Leaked information suggests that one of these potential victims is a male singer who worked with Diddy on a large-scale charity campaign in 2015. Shortly after, he abruptly withdrew from the entertainment industry, cut all ties with the media, and moved to a remote area to live in seclusion. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened, or why he never spoke again. This is what sets Diddy's trial apart from others. It's not just about individual misconduct. It's about unlocking a door that's been sealed shut for over 20 years, a door behind which smiles were staged, and laughter on stage often masked memories too painful to forget. The more people stay silent, the more desperate the public becomes to hear the truth. But the scarier question is this: is there anyone brave enough to tell it? Justin Bieber has spoken. He's not just telling his story, he's opening a portal, a gateway through which forgotten pain is finally finding a voice. But in a world where silence is enforced with contracts, money, and threats, speaking out is never easy. Justin has stepped one foot into a dangerous zone. And what the world is waiting for now isn't just another statement. It's whether he's willing to tell the whole truth. What matters here is that Justin isn't alone anymore. Truth has a ripple effect. One voice, especially a big one, can pave the way for others to follow. And when a major star breaks the silence, there's a real chance that more survivors will begin to emerge from the shadows. The question isn't, is there anyone else? But, how many are waiting to be heard? In the age of #MeToo, and in the aftermath of massive exposes like Weinstein and Epstein, the Diddy case could be the next major chapter in exposing the dark underbelly of the entertainment empire. But like those cases, it hinges on one thing: courage. Not from activist groups, not from prosecutors, but from the very people who were once dragged in, those who stood on the sidelines, those who remained silent. If you're watching this video, you may not be a celebrity, but you are the public, and the public has power. The power to demand transparency. The power to amplify voices. The power to shape an environment where stories like Justin's can no longer be buried. And if you're thinking, what can I even do? The answer is, a lot. Start by leaving a comment. What do you think about everything that's happening? Do you believe Justin? Do you think even bigger names will come out? And what will you do when the truth gets even closer? What's happening around Diddy's trial has gone beyond a personal lawsuit. It's more like a dam bursting after years of pressure. Fragments of memory, forgotten stories, and long-buried secrets from luxury parties are all now rising to the surface. And Justin Bieber, though not the first to be hurt, may be the first brave enough to spark a reckoning. Because the truth is, Diddy couldn't have done everything he's accused of alone. To build a kingdom of silence, he needed accomplices, assistants, managers, record labels, media companies. They didn't have to actively participate. They just had to do nothing. And for over 20 years, that nothingness stole voices, destroyed reputations, and even took lives. Now is the time for viewers like you, the ones watching this story unfold, to ask the bigger question. If only Diddy goes down, will that be enough? How many other Diddys are still sitting in lavish boardrooms, signing million-dollar contracts with young, clueless talent who don't realize what they're walking into? This video might just be the beginning of a deeper investigation. Not a criminal one, but an investigation through light. We'll keep digging into the people, the patterns, and the relationships that once orbited around Diddy. People who might have known, people who might have been hurt, or people who might have chosen to look the other way. And through that lens, you'll start to see the full picture. This isn't just a scandal. It's the blueprint of an industry built to chew up youth and spit it out once it stops making money. Every media earthquake comes with aftershocks. Initial tremors that seem small but signal something much bigger is coming. And if you've been paying attention to Diddy's trial, you'll start to notice subtle shifts from names you never thought were connected. One name that's been drawing attention recently is Chance the Rapper. In the past few weeks, he's suddenly canceled several performance dates, deleted a slew of old posts, and shared a cryptic message. Keep your soul clean, even when those around you don't. To casual fans, it seemed like a personal reflection. But to industry insiders, it raised red flags. Chance once worked indirectly with a production team tied to Diddy. And since 2018, he's quietly severed all ties with anyone affiliated with Bad Boy Records. Then there's Janelle Monáe, an artist known for her ultra-controlled public image. She surprised many recently by posting a video about youth memories being manipulated by others, only to delete it within 10 minutes. Maybe it was an emotional outburst. Maybe it was the first crack in an internal struggle, someone torn between telling the truth and protecting her career. What's striking is that these names, alongside Justin Bieber, belong to a single generation. A generation of artists who entered the industry as teenagers, groomed by powerful men, forced to grow up in a world where honesty was often traded for fame and fortune. A source within the music industry revealed, there's a private WhatsApp group of artists who've worked with Diddy. They're finally sharing things they've never dared to say publicly. Some are seriously considering testifying, if they can be protected. If that's true, then the next names won't just be singers. They could be directors, stylists, dancers, makeup artists, the people who've suffered in silence for decades. No one knows who will be the next to come forward. But one thing is certain. Many eyes are on Justin. Not just to hear what he says, but to watch for a signal. A sign that maybe, just maybe, it's finally safe to speak.